What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 8, the final part of my reviewing and ranking David Bowie's studio albums. There's only one album left. I'm going to talk about that one album. It is his final album, his 26th album. I'm including 28 on this list because I did the Tin Machine albums as a video. But this came out in 2016, 7 songs. It's about 41 minutes long. It feels way too short. It is like one of those albums that you put it on, next thing you know, it's over, and you just kind of want to listen to it again. I'm going to talk about this album, and then after I talk about the album, I'm going to show you my final ranking of all of his albums, and Blackstar will be included in there. So let's go back to talking about Blackstar. So Blackstar is the last album he released, and it came out January 8th, 2016, and Bowie passed away 2 days later. Only Bowie can do that, right? Only Bowie can do that. And the amazing thing about this album is, wow, he was actually born on January 8th. So it came out on his birthday, and then he passed away 2 days later. That is crazy. I just now realized that, or learned that. Came out on his 69th birthday. All right. I guess I knew that. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But this album is like, we have a lot of examples of musicians throughout the years, singer-songwriters in particular, who have these sort of, in their later stages of their career, albums in which they sort of reflect on their own mortality, right? They're getting older. Things aren't working the way they used to be. Friends are maybe passing away, and, their mortality is being sort of like confronted, musically. I'm sure, Jeff Tweedy, I'm looking forward to the album where Jeff Tweedy just talks about death. But this isn't that album. This feels more like the album of a man who's actually seen death and knows it's coming and is preparing himself to like fully embrace it. And the music on this album, his main collaborator on this one, Visconti's back as producer, and Visconti's just been absolutely fantastic. But there's a bunch of local jazz musicians, and I think there was one in particular, a saxophonist that he worked particularly close with on this, or he definitely gave a lot of freedom to like solo. Donnie McCaslin, who tenor saxophone, has a lot of just awesome playing on here. But there is a very jazz feel to this album. But the music is at like jazz in the sense of a David Bowie jazz album, right? It's filtered through the David Bowie art rock lens. But there's a lot of music. A lot of the music in here is very tense. There is this tension between sort of accepting the inevitable, accepting that, life is finite and you're going to move on. And obviously Bowie was having health issues and was like, dealing with this. But then there's also this really strong resistance to that, both in the lyrics, both in the music. One of the songs in particular on the second half, I think it's both the last two, like Dollar Days in particular, has this almost uplifting, really, really beautiful intro. And then it has this almost like kind of just like uplifting sort of vibe. But at the same time, there's this like, this resisting like gravitational pull to like go back and not embrace like, the moving forward type thing. It has this awesome sort of play on words in which, not awesome, just utterly depressing play on words in which Bowie keeps saying like, I'm dying too, but like, I'm dying to do this thing with you, but then like, I'm dying also, it's like, okay, that's just like constant reminder that this is an album of death. Yeah, and it's just fantastic. And the weird thing about it is like so many people have written absolutely awesome pieces, music critics, music lovers, about this album and it's sort of where it is in Bowie's life and how it fits and all that, and just sort of the feelings that are in the music. And they all make sense. Like you read them and you're like, oh yeah, I get that. But it really isn't until you listen to the music and you just like, you feel what Bowie's able to convey through his music and through his lyrics and just through the energy in here, that you're like, oh yeah, this is like this is ridiculously hard to listen to. You know, I mean, I think even if you know nothing about David Bowie and somebody's like, here, listen to this album, you're like, wow, this is a pretty intense album. There's a lot of like emotions in here. And even songs like, I think it's Sue, right? Sue, even these songs that have this really awesome sort of like techno rocker drum energy, the lyrics are like really dark and depressing. And you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the, let's try to be uplifting and happy musically in the face of like, you know, death. It's absolutely amazing. The opening song Blackstar is sort of one of those mini epics, kind of like Station to Station. It's like a two-parter. First part is this really almost like very mysterious, otherworldly vibe, like music from a black star, whatever this black star place is. It just seems like it's whatever mysterious music from that place. Has a very weird, like almost tapping into like a Peter Gabriel, like ritualistic energy that he channeled for like Rhythm of the Heat or San Jacinto, you know, just that kind of vibe where you're channeling the music or trying to create this sort of vibe of like some other culture, or in David Bowie's instance, some other species of human. It's a separate species in the David Bowie instance. And their rituals, and that seems to be like what we're hinting at. And then about the 4-minute mark of the intro, you get the 4 minutes of this mysterious ritual. There seems to be this transitioning thing, and we're almost like, I guess, moving into the light, I'm going to say, because at 4:42, after that segue is over and Bowie starts singing, there are very few specific moments in music that make me feel as like, like just when his voice comes in, and he's been singing in the first 4 minutes, but when he comes in and it's a different vibe, it's like the light has been shown. There's the melody is a little more, just gets you. 4:42 of Blackstar, one of the most perfect moments in like the entire David Bowie catalog. And then the rest of that song is just fantastic. A little more like that optimism is kind of tempered with some different energy. I'm a blacks, you know, there's some little more different energy, but that optimism is there for a brief little time, and it's so beautiful. The second song, 'Tis a Pity She Was a Whore, is this awesome sort of, has this awesome drum intro, and then the bass has this almost like talking drum type, just driving us forward type beat. And then over that, you get the sax like just wailing, and it's just this awesome like hypnotic groove, and Bowie's almost just like crooning and just like having a blast just singing. But it's just awesome, just almost like David Bowie's a version of the talking drum. Like he took that idea and put lyrics on it, add some sax, and just got this propulsive energy about it. Lazarus is just a devastating heartbreaker. Don't ever watch the music video for Lazarus. It will break your heart. It is David Bowie fully confronting the fact that he's at the end of his life. It's absolutely haunting, jazzy, soulful, kind of just unsettling, an absolute slow burn monster of a track. Just wrenches your heart out, man. Then we get Sue, which has some really good techno drum energy, but it's still tense. It's like this techno drive with just layers of kind of this noise and distraction right above it. Really dark lyrics about death and loss, and just two of these songs, 'Tis a Pity and Sue, had been recorded, released as a single for some other project. I think Sue was the A-side, 'Tis a Pity was a B-side. Pretty sure that's where it was. And so I think they were re-recorded for this. I did not go back and listen to the original, so I don't know. If you know, let me know, and I will go check them out if they're different. But I think they were re-recorded for this, so I should track those down. We get Girl Loves Me, which is this sort of, what is this? It's like, the vibe on this, it's absolutely amazing music. But it seems to be about, like, there's this sense of, like, there's this continuing line about where the fuck did Monday go, right? And the music almost has this, like, the energy about this is like, lyrically, it's like this transcendent like thing. He's transcended, like he's he's seeing stuff we don't see. He sees Blurple, and we don't see Blurple because we're not at that point of death. Like he uses, some of the lyrics are from Burgess's Clockwork Orange, that made-up language or dialect that he had in there. And Bowie's singing these words that kind of don't make sense, but they do make sense. And you're thinking, like, should I know what these words mean? Am I supposed to know what this stuff? You're like, no. He's on the next level. Like, he's already transcended. Like, that's where he is on his acceptance of his death. But then he keeps going back to, where the fuck did Monday go? Like, where did the normal go? Yeah, I can see Blurple, but I can't have breakfast, or I'm not tying my shoes, or I'm not going to work. I'm not doing these mundane things that really help define life. And so again, the energy is great, and it's a fun, almost rocking type song, but it's just like, lyrically, the more you pay attention to it, it's just depressing, man. It's just depressing. We get Dollar Days, absolutely beautiful intro, and then it has that sort of tension between like uplifting, like accepting it, and then aching and longing and not accepting it and fighting against it. And then the last one, I can't give everything away. I mean, the title says it all. Like, you just can't. There's frustration. It's the end of the life. You want to accept it, but there are things out of your control that are just so frustrating. It's got this almost like upbeat shuffle type vibe to it, but with the sax just bringing out these awesome moods, and the sort of anger that's in it, the really nice sort of snarly, snuggly, weird little guitar solo at the end. Like, there's just so much tension in this album. It's not an easy album to listen to. I know people who don't, because they're huge David Bowie fans, and like, he is bearing it all right here just for everybody to see. And it's intense, but it's amazing. I mean, it's to go out like this, to go out this high on top, and produce such an incredible, fabulous piece of work. I'm a big basketball fan, and in David Robinson's very last game, NHL, NBA career, Hall of Famer, 2 world championships, his very last game, in order to clinch that second of the Spurs championships, he was like 1 rebound away or 1 block away from like a quadruple double. Like, that's about as high on top as you can go. Yeah, Bowie's done the equivalent of that in the musical sense. Blackstar, it's a beast. I'm going to take a quick break because I'm exhausted from talking about this. Then I'm immediately going to jump in and show you where this ranks among all other 27 Bowie albums that I've talked about already elsewhere on this channel. I'll be back in like a second, video-wise. All right, and this is the list. The final ranking. Yeah, drop some Europe for you right there. All right, let's go through it. I know there's at least one that's definitely going to upset some people. There was a change since a month ago or 3 weeks ago when I first started this. Thanks to listening to some of the live stuff, I'm going to drop a live video probably next week. I have a new appreciation for an album in my top 5. And so there was a flipping of the order in my top 5, because something I originally, I think, took for granted, I now have way more appreciation for. So not way more, but a little bit more. All right, let's get on it. The first 28 through, the 20s, 28 through 21, that's what they are right there. Yeah. If you want to know more of my thoughts on this, I have literally videos on all of these and talk about each one of these a little more in depth. I think the one that's possibly going to upset people right there is The Man Who Sold the World. I like it. I don't think it's a bad album. Like, I think pretty much everything from like Tin Machine up are good albums, right? The only albums where I'm like, I don't ever reach for tonight, Tin Machine 2, David Bowie, Never Let Me Down. There's bright spots on each of those, but for the most part, I'm not reaching for those much. Tin Machine, I'm still reaching for. The Man Who Sold the World, I just think everything else above it is just more interesting, or just, a little more interesting. Or at this point in time has not been out as long, so I'm not as tired of it. But yeah, that's where I would put the first 21. All right, 20 through 11, right there. What do we got? Yeah, Outside. I mean, these are all great albums, so it's weird to see like Outside, Earthling, Black Tie, White Noise, The Next Day, So Far Back. But there's a lot of really good albums. Young Americans, little inconsistent. Some absolutely bangers of some songs on there, but I think it's not as strong as his other 70s stuff. Buddha of Suburbia, love just the overall eclectic vibe. David Bowie's Space Oddity album, I think is just kind of underappreciated. I think that's a pretty good little gem of an album. The Hours, absolutely fantastic. That needs to get more love. Love that. Heathen, I think, tops it just a little bit. It's a little stronger. And then Let's Dance just misses the top 10. Don't sleep on that album. It's really good. I think it gave Bowie, I think sometimes the big albums that make you international superstars get a bad rap. Let's Dance is fantastic. So yeah, now let's go 10 through 6. Let's do this in small chunks. 10 through 6 is right there. So Heroes, just making number 10. Hunky Dory at 9. Lodger at 8. Station is Station at 7. And Aladdin Sane. Like, these are all fantastic albums. Fantastic albums. But yeah, what are you going to do? There's still 5 other fantastic albums. And so before I get to let me just go through my top 5 right here now. Number 5 is the album I just talked about, Blackstar. Just absolutely phenomenal. It's only been out, 8 years now? I don't know if it'll pass, if it'll move up, but these top 5 are kind of just all perfect. So, it's just really a ranking of favorites and not quality. So the one that switched places, that used to be at number 3, but switched places with 4 over my listening to 3, what is now 3, more over the past month. Low is at number 4. Just one of the best A-B side albums. Just such a completely different experience on both sides of those albums. And the side A, the sort of more traditional art rock side, is so weird and so funky and has so many memorable grooves. And then the ambient Eno side is just, I think, the best of his Eno excursions. The one that moved up one that I took for granted for way too long in my life is just being, it's a great album. Of course it is, but is it that great? Nah, it is that great. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust from Mars. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, because Ronson and the Spiders from Mars are as important. Have to bump that up. Which makes number 2, Scary Monsters, early mid-career, absolute classic. I just don't think there's a bad song on that album. It's from start to finish. It's absolutely perfect. So many different flavors. It's weird. It's eclectic. And then my number 1, I said it when I made the video. It's just, I know it's not his best. I can argue that some of these are more important, more essential. But the one I listen to far more than any other, and I would say far more, is Diamond Dogs. Absolutely love Diamond Dogs. Just a perfect creation. Perfect length. Like, by the time it's over, you just want to listen to it again because it's a pretty short album. It's kind of weird. It's got some proggy stuff in it. Yeah, but that's it. That's what the entire list looks like in writing. There we go. That's what I got for you, people. That's what I've decided as of January 2024. Could change. A lot of things, I would say, from like maybe 12 through 21 can maybe move around as I revisit stuff and listen to stuff. Everything else I think is pretty lodge earned in there. But anyways, I'm done with the David Bowie studio album journey. I might revisit Toy at some point. I'm definitely going to talk about the live albums. I gotta absorb some of the more recent ones a little more, but I'm almost there. I got thoughts on those, but that's all I got. Thanks for watching all these David Bowie's videos. If you want to know, like, how in the world could I put The Man Who Sold the World at 23, part 1, I talk about that album, and I'll explain those reasons. So if you're interested more, check those out. But thanks for watching all this journey. Go listen to some David Bowie. Go listen to anything in the top 10. They're all perfect albums. Crazy artist. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace. Thank you, everybody who's ever commented and shared their Bowie thoughts, and share your final ones and let me know why I'm wrong, why I'm right. All that stuff, people. This is a contentiously friendly list to debate, because I think we're all right? I mean, he's fucking fantastic. All right, that's all I got. Peace. Stay warm, people. Talk to you later.